A man bought 8 apples at the rate of 8 for 34 rupees and sold them at the rate of 12 for 57 rupees. How many apples should be sold to earn a net profit of 45 rupees? Now we have been given the cost price of 8 apples, which is 34 rupees. So we can find out the cost price of 1 apple. So the cost price of 1 apple is equal to the cost price of 8 apples divided by 8. So 34 divided by 8, and that is equal to 4.25. Now we have the cost price of 1 apple. Now what else is given? We have been given the selling price of 12 apples. He sold them at the rate of 12 for 57 rupees. So selling price of 1 apple can be found out, which is equal to the selling price of 12 apples divided by 12. So 57 by 12, and that will come out as 4.75. Right. Now we have the selling price of 1 apple and the cost price of 1 apple. We can find out the profit earned on a single apple. So profit on 1 apple is equals to the selling price of 1 apple minus the cost price of 1 apple. So 4.75 minus 4.25, and that is 0.5. So this person earns 0.5 rupees on each apple. Well, how many apples will have to be sold to earn a profit of 45? So the number of apples is equals to the profit made on the total number of apples, that is 45, divided by the profit made on 1 apple, that is 0.5. So this is equal to 90. So the total number of apples that should be sold is 90 apples. A man bought some fruits at the rate of 16 for rupees 24 and sold them at the rate of 8 for rupees 18. What is the profit percentage? Well, the man bought these fruits at the rate of 16 for 24. So we have the cost price of 16 fruits, which is 24. So CP of 16 fruits is equal to 24. And we also have the selling price of 8 fruits, which is 18. Now to calculate the profit, we will have to take into account the cost price of 8 fruit, not 16 fruits. So cost price of 16 fruits is 24. So the cost price of 8 fruits will be equal to the half of 24, because half of 16 is 8, right? So 24 by 2, and that is equal to 12. So 12 is the cost price of 8 fruits. Now we need to calculate the profit to calculate the profit percentage. So profit is equals to the selling price of 8 fruits minus the cost price of 8 fruits. So profit is equals to 18 minus 12, that is 6. So profit percentage is equals to profit divided by the cost price of 8 fruits, which is 12 times 100, and that is 1 by 2 times 100, and that is equal to 50%. So option C is the correct answer. A vendor bought toffees at 6 for a rupee. How many for a rupee must he sell to gain 20%? So we have the cost price of 6 toffees, and that is equals to 1 rupee. So cost price of 6 toffees is equals to 1. And we have been given the profit percentage, which is 20%. So the selling price of 6 toffees can also be found out. So selling price of 6 toffees is equals to 100 plus 20% of the cost price, that is of 1. So this is equal to 120 upon 100 times 1. And if we divide the numerator and denominator by 20, we get 6 by 5. So the selling price of 6 toffees is 6 by 5 rupees. So this means that if the amount is 6 by 5 rupees, number of toffees sold is equal to 6. For 6 by 5 rupees, we sold 6 toffees. So what is asked? How many for a rupee must he sell? So for 1 rupee, how much should be the number of toffees sold? So we can do a cross multiplication here. So 6 by 5 times x is equal to 6 times 1. So x is equals to 6 times 5 by 6. So therefore the number of toffees is equal to 5. We can sell 5 toffees for the amount of 1 rupee. So option C is the correct answer. By selling 12 toffees for 1 rupee, a man loses 20%. How many for a rupee should he sell to get a gain of 20%? So we have the selling price of 12 toffees, which is equals to 1 rupee. And when we sell, or this man sells 12 toffees for 1 rupee, he loses 20%, which means he has a loss of 20%. So I can write the selling price of 12 toffees, which is equals to 1, is equal to a 20% decrease in the cost price. So it is equal to 100 minus 20% of cost price. So 100 minus 20 upon 100 of the cost price. So this is equation 1. Next, how many for a rupee should he sell to get a gain of 20%? Let us first find out the selling price of 12 toffees when there is a gain of 20%. So let it be SP, which is equal to 20% gain in cost price. So which is 100 plus 20% of cost price. So 100 plus 20 upon 100 times the cost price. This is equation number 2. Now we can divide equation 2 by 1 to get the selling price of 12 toffees. Right? So we have on the left hand side selling price SP divided by 1, which is equals to 100 plus 20 by 100 times cost price. So 100 plus 20 is 120 upon 100 times the cost price, divided by, we have 100 minus 20, which is 80 by 100 of the cost price. So these cost price get cancelled out, hundreds get cancelled out, and these zeros also get cancelled out. So we have this, the selling price is equals to 12 by 8, and if I divide the numerator and denominator by 4, I get it as 3 by 2. So when the selling price is 3 by 2 rupees, the number of toffees is 12, and this is when we have a gain of 20%. So what should be the number of toffees when selling price is equals to 1? And that is what is asked. How many for a rupee should he sell to get a gain of 20%? So we can just cross multiply and equate here. So n times 3 by 2 is equals to 12 times 1. So therefore n, which is the number of toffees to be sold for a rupee, is equals to 12 times 2 by 3, and 3 4s are 12, so it is 8. So 8 toffees should be sold for a rupee to get a gain of 20%. So option B is the correct answer here.